Have you ever considered that everything you believe to be true might actually be pre-programmed? Picture this. You feel like you're charting your own course, but unknowingly, you're following invisible tracks laid down long ago. It's unsettling, I get it. But that unease, that's the doorway to real freedom. The real question is, are you truly ready to see beyond the surface? Maybe you're wondering why your life feels stuck, despite your best efforts. You work hard, studying, self-help, positive affirmations, yet the results are the same. It's like running on a treadmill, exhausted, but going nowhere. I understand this perfectly. Why? Because your reality isn't dictated by your conscious thoughts, but by deeply ingrained, subconscious beliefs. For years, I was trapped in this cycle. I'd see brilliant, successful people in powerful positions, yet deeply unhappy. Meanwhile, others lacking formal education amassed fortunes. This gnawed at me. I realized wealth, success, well-being weren't about academic achievements, but an invisible force, internal programming. Most people unknowingly live out a mental script absorbed from childhood, a script you didn't choose, inherited from parents, school, society, repeated until it became unquestionable truth. Even when you consciously crave more, growth, prosperity, abundance, your subconscious might whisper, "That's not safe, that's not for you." And guess who wins that internal battle? Always the subconscious. Emotional, repetitive, automatic, relentless. I was conditioned to believe in my own limitations. I dropped out of school early. I wasn't a stellar student. What saved me was questioning that programming. What if it's all wrong? What if I'm confined by someone else's paradigm? That simple question transformed my life, and it can transform yours. Notice how your current reality, finances, relationships, health, mirrors what you believe is possible, not your desires, but what you deem attainable. You might dream of comfort, financial independence, freedom, but an inner voice hisses, "That's too good to be true." Then you self-sabotage, start projects and quit, receive opportunities and squander them, attract repetitive relationships. What if I told you it's not your fault? It's not a lack of willpower, but invisible programming, predating your awareness of your desires. And this isn't some magical thinking. Neuroscience confirms that roughly 95% of our decisions are unconscious. Your brain conserves energy by repeating old patterns, like an unwanted autopilot steering your life daily. Stop and reflect. Who would you become if you could rewrite that programming? If you could replace that outdated mental software with a new one affirming, "Yes, you deserve it. Yes, you can. Yes, abundance is possible." Many avoid this question because it's uncomfortable, but discomfort signals imminent growth. I remember looking at my bank account early on, thinking, this can't be my reality. The pain propelled me to seek answers. The shift began with understanding that the external world reflected my internal world. My external reality was a mirror. I didn't need to change the world, but my worldview. I immersed myself in studying paradigms, belief systems, habits, and emotions stored in the subconscious that define everything: your reactions, your earnings, your tolerance, your perception of possibility. Change the paradigm, change your life. But it requires a choice. Abandoning the life of your ancestors, honestly examining yourself and declaring, "I am more than they taught me to be." So tell me, are you ready to live the unimaginable, to feel and think the unthinkable? This question, though simple when answered honestly, can be a turning point. Most people replay old versions of themselves, trapped in an invisible bubble, unaware of what lies beyond. That bubble has a name: self-image. You will never surpass the limits of your self-image. If internally you see yourself as limited, small, indebted, unlucky, or mediocre, the world will reflect that, always. Your efforts will be futile. Many dedicate themselves, study, strive, yet remain stagnant, trapped by a self-image marred by failures, rejections, comparisons, judgments. Without changing that image, nothing changes. I see it daily. Talents and generous hearts unable to shine due to lack of self-belief. Have you felt like that? Hitting an invisible ceiling. That ceiling isn't in the world, it's within you. The most surprising thing is that many seek to change outcomes without addressing the root cause. They chase more money, better relationships, new jobs, cities, countries, yet remain the same, with unchanged results. Notice how many lottery winners lose it all quickly. Their mindset remains impoverished, the self-image doesn't change, and anything incongruent is sabotaged. Oprah Winfrey, on the other hand, grew up in poverty, abuse, and racism, but decided that others' perceptions were less important than the image she would create. That decision was the beginning of everything. She didn't change the world, but her inner world, and the world adjusted. That same power is within your reach, but you need to make a courageous decision. Abandon who you learned to be to become who you were born to be. You're not broken, just conditioned, and conditioning can be reversed, undone. But it only happens with the decision to reprogram your mind. Responsibility. That word changed everything for me. I blamed the system, the government, my parents, my past. But one day I stopped and thought, what if it's all my responsibility? Not in terms of guilt, but of power. Because if I create, I can also recreate and build something new. The change began from the inside out. If you look at yourself honestly, without masks, excuses, or self-pity, you too can trigger this transformation. You don't need more intelligence, diplomas, or approval. Decide to stop living with imposed beliefs and start writing your own code. Something magical happens. Your mind expands, new opportunities arise, you move with confidence, attracting situations and people aligned with your new identity. Your reality shifts, the world reflects what you allow within. Again, I ask, are you ready to see beyond? When you are, the impossible becomes possible, not through luck, but by becoming the creator of your life, no longer a victim of old patterns. This is the first step, starting now. When you look in the mirror, you see a body, perhaps wrinkles, grey hair, but you don't see what truly controls everything: your mind. Many see the body as a physical structure reacting to the environment, diet, time. Few realize the body precisely expresses the mental state. Anxiety, stress, procrastination, pain. It's all an internal response. It took me a long time to understand this. I studied, read, applied, yet patterns persisted. Only when I grasped that the mind moves, the body, did my life transform. What prevents you from acting isn't external, but internal vibration. Notice how some wake up energized, others exhausted, even after the same hours of sleep. This isn't about comfort, but mental and emotional state. You can feed positive ideas into your conscious mind, but if your subconscious disagrees, your body will respond with blockage, resistance, inaction. Many say, I know what I should do, but I can't. This repeats across all areas. You want to lose weight, but eat impulsively. You want to get out of debt, but spend unnecessarily. You want healthy relationships, but repeat patterns. It's not a lack of logic, but a lack of alignment between mind and body. The body obeys the dominant vibration of the subconscious, like a puppet whose strings are pulled internally. I remember one afternoon at home feeling anxious for no apparent reason. Everything was fine, yet my body was tense, my heart racing. I realized my conscious thoughts were positive, but my body carried the energy of an old belief. This happens to you too. The subconscious doesn't communicate with words, but with sensations, repetitions, vibrations. If you don't listen to your body, you'll spend your life rationalizing misunderstood emotions. It's like driving with the parking brake engaged. Science has proven that the body reacts instantly to emotional states. Prolonged negative emotions lower vibrational frequency, weaken immunity, and alter brain chemistry. Elevated states like gratitude and love expand brain function, strengthen the body, and increase the capacity for aligned decisions. It's not just about positive thinking, but reprogramming the mind so that thought and feeling are in sync, coherent with a new vibration. When there's this coherence, something shifts profoundly. You stop fighting yourself. The world responds with fluidity, opportunities, synchronicities. Doors open, not because the world changed, but because you stopped deeply sabotaging yourself. How many times have you avoided action due to physical discomfort? Nausea before speaking, tension when demanding payment, the urge to quit when things are improving. Your body tries to protect you, but from a non-existent danger, an old trauma, an outdated belief, someone else's fear. Without reframing, the body repeats the reaction. The solution is awareness, observing the body, understanding its expression with compassion, presence, responsibility. By understanding the body as a messenger of the subconscious, you stop fighting it and use it as a compass to your liberation. The magic happens. You act with lightness, courage, congruence. Things flow, not because they're easy, but because you've stopped being your own obstacle, and that changes everything. The most surprising thing is that your body always knew, tried to warn you, but no one taught us to listen, and we learned to silence it. We were conditioned to ignore feelings, hide emotions, swallow our tears, not make a drama, and that silence created illnesses, tensions, gastritis, insomnia, depression, symptoms that are the body's cries for internal change. Every symptom is a message, and every ignored message becomes a repetitive pattern that steals your energy, vitality, and joy of living. You weren't born to live tired, afraid, in survival mode. That was taught, but it can be unlearned. The body is a reflection of the mind, not something esoteric, but science. Your heart has over 40,000 neurons and communicates with the emotional brain. It sends more signals to the brain than vice versa. In constant stress, fear, or anger, your heart becomes coherent with those states and controls the rest of your body. You become what you feel, and your body expresses it in everything. Have you noticed how someone can change the mood of a room without speaking? That's bodily vibration, a direct result of what is intensely thought and felt. Have you felt a weight, a discomfort somewhere? That's real. The body feels what the mind hides. Changing your life with reason alone doesn't work. It needs to involve the body, reprogramming the mind so the body feels safety, abundance, enthusiasm. Only when the body feels it does behavior change, and only when behavior changes do results appear. Repeating "I am prosperous" 1,000 times is useless if your body vibrates scarcity, fear, shame. The universe responds to your vibration, not words, and the vibration is defined by what the body feels, not what your mouth says. Have you tried to change a habit and failed? Started a routine enthusiastically and given up? It's not weakness, but your body hasn't accepted the new reality. It's stuck on the vibration of the old you, seeking the familiar, even if it's destructive. The secret is to re-educate the body with intentional emotional repetition. Visualize, feel as if it were real, move your body with intention, breathe as if you've already achieved it. It sounds theatrical, but it breaks the cycle. The body learns through experience. The more you give it the emotional experience of the new you, the more it accepts this new identity. Once accepted, it acts on its own, effortlessly, without resistance. It becomes your ally. This changed everything for me. I stopped thinking about success and started feeling it in my body. I walked with more firmness, breathed with presence, spoke with clarity. My body returned that energy as action. Procrastination vanished, Doubt became movement, anxiety became confidence, and reality responded like an echo. Don't wait for a miracle. Teach your body to live what you desire now. In moments of blockage, doubt, fear, stop, breathe, observe your body, honor the signal. Because there's a truth you haven't dared to hear, but which can liberate everything. Your body was never your enemy. It's the messenger of your soul, ready to guide you as soon as you're ready to listen. I spent 9 years studying books, audios, seminars, and still something didn't make sense. I'd been tirelessly chasing success, positive affirmations, visualization, the whole 9 yards, but the results were maddeningly inconsistent. Tweaking this, adjusting that, only to find myself back at square one. It felt like swimming upstream against a relentless current. My efforts were futile, something was holding me back, and I couldn't figure out what. Then, at a Vancouver conference, everything shifted. I'd flown all the way from Chicago just to hear this one speaker, and afterward, I boldly asked to chat. A few days later, in a Toronto hotel, what was meant to be a brief conversation stretched into 3 days. He gave me the most transformative insight. It wasn't a lack of knowledge that was hindering me, but a profound inner disharmony. His words hit me like a ton of bricks. You think one way, feel another, and act in a completely disconnected manner. He was right. I was thinking triumph, feeling fear, and acting with crippling hesitation. How could I expect brilliant results with such a chaotic internal landscape? He explained that this internal conflict, thinking prosperity but feeling lack, desiring love but feeling rejection, yearning for freedom but acting out of guilt, is incredibly common. It's not a moral failing, but a fundamental disconnect between thought, feeling, and action. All my previous efforts had been in vain because I'd missed this crucial piece. My mind said yes, but my heart screamed no. And the body, he said, always follows the heart, not the head. Have you ever been there? Declared, "This is it," only to find yourself days later stuck in the same rut with the same excuses, doubts, and fears. It's not weakness, it's internal misalignment. Worse, this disconnect becomes so normalized, it feels normal. People get used to this fractured self, thinking one thing, feeling another, doing something else entirely, filling the void with distractions, addictions, and frantic activity. But the body always knows, always feels the truth. Aligning your thoughts, feelings, and actions creates something extraordinary: coherence. Decisions flow effortlessly, opportunities emerge synchronistically, intuition sharpens. It's as if the universe whispers, "Finally, you're ready." You stop forcing and start allowing. This isn't some fluffy self-help. Heart rate variability research confirms this. When your heart, breath, and brain rhythms harmonize, your body responds with enhanced mental clarity, emotional balance, and even improved immunity. You become a unified field, a single powerful current. Effort becomes effortless. You know you're on the right path. Decisions emanate from within, fueled by conviction, not external pressure. Remember that constant doubt, the hesitation, the fear of failure, the judgment. It all diminishes when you operate from a place of coherence. It's no longer a single, isolated voice, but your whole being saying, "This is it." There's a caveat. Seeking this alignment dissolves anything out of sync. People, habits, outdated beliefs, they may fall away. This might feel scary, like losing control, but it's actually making space for your authentic self. You transition from autopilot to intentionality, from reaction to creation. Your body, previously paralyzed by fear, moves with newfound energy, decisiveness, and enthusiasm. It's as if it says, "Finally, we're in this together." Life responds in extraordinary ways. You wake up with greater purpose and clarity. Your words carry weight, your actions become congruent, and it all reflects in your results. Inner alignment creates outer alignment. That's the power of it. The difference between aspiring and achieving, dreaming and manifesting, surviving and truly living. The choice is yours. This alignment isn't forced, it's cultivated. Like a plant, you don't force growth by pulling on the stem. You nurture the soil, water, sunlight, and protection. Treat your inner world the same way. Thoughts, emotions, and actions are the roots, stem, and fruit. If one part is imbalanced, nothing flourishes fully. Most people chase results without tending to the roots. They crave the fruit, more money, love, opportunities, but plant seeds of fear, doubt, and scarcity. They think growth but feel inadequacy. They want change but act out of fear of rejection, failure, the unknown. They're trapped in an endless cycle. Cultivate inner unity and everything transforms. You don't need to convince anyone, including yourself, of your capabilities. You simply feel it, and in feeling, you become. This becoming changes everything. Many intelligent, well-intentioned people remain stuck in the same patterns. They know the strategies, the methods, but they're missing the core. The body doesn't believe, the heart is divided, actions stem from obligation, not inspiration. It's swimming upstream, exhausting and demoralizing. But alignment, thought, feeling, action is swimming with the current. Energy flows, life flows. You don't need to prove anything, just follow your inner rhythm. Genuine self-confidence emerges, not contrived, but deeply rooted in your being, non-negotiable. It's not based on what you have, but who you are. Your posture shifts, your gaze changes, the tone of your voice alters, and people sense it. This isn't about seeking attention. It's wholeness, presence, alignment, a magnetic force that attracts and inspires. It's not about pretending, it's about being. The transition from pretending to being is the work of internal alignment. Honestly examine your thoughts, feelings, and actions. Are they coherent? Are they leading you where you want to go? Or are you repeating patterns out of familiarity? Sometimes the answer hurts, revealing a life built on compromise, fear, and conditioning. That pain is necessary. It shows where you're disconnected from yourself. By acknowledging that separation, you reunite the fragmented parts. You integrate your essential self with your outward actions. Your actions gain power, not from effort, but from inherent strength. Nothing is more powerful than someone internally aligned. They don't rely on motivation. They act from conviction. They don't wait for the right moment. They create it, and life collaborates. You're guided not by the calculating mind, but by the feeling mind, by intuition, by the clarity that arises when everything is synchronized. No tool, technique, or formula can replace this. You can possess the best knowledge, but without internal alignment, nothing happens. It's the vibration of your coherence that activates the field around you. It's not words, plans, or strategies. It's your integrity in all you do. Reaching this state transforms your experience of life. You realize you're not the same person and you'll never go back. The power of unity makes any form of incomplete life unbearable. It's a point of no return. You stop fixing the world and start living as your best self, without permission, without fear, without hesitation. Just being who you were born to be. I used to believe that working harder, striving more, finding the right job or connections would increase my income. For years, I ran in circles trying to change the result without addressing the root cause. Then, in a life-altering conversation, I heard, "You don't change your income by changing your income. You change your income by changing yourself." I realized the money entering my life reflected my inner being. My current financial reality wasn't a mistake, bad luck, or the economy's fault. It was the precise manifestation of my self-image, beliefs, and emotional frequency. Money is a consequence. Trying to change it without changing its source is like painting over cracks in a wall without fixing the foundation. I learned this firsthand. Before earning $1 million, I cleaned offices, earned barely enough, and was deeply in debt. But something within me yearned for change. I'd tried everything, and nothing worked. I realized it wasn't the world that needed to change, but my self-perception. For many, this is the hardest part. It's easier to blame the boss, the market, the government, parents, the economy. But while you place responsibility outside yourself, you relinquish your power, and reality remains unchanged, year after year. I started asking myself, how does someone earning 6 figures think, feel, act, and how would I feel being that person? I visualized it daily until my body believed it. I didn't just think it. I behaved as if it were real. My vibration shifted, my habits changed, and my income responded. Your subconscious is programmed to keep your life within an invisible limit. You might earn more temporarily, but if your self-image isn't prepared, you'll find ways to lose, sabotage, squander, regress. Many who receive a raise, win the lottery, or close a big deal are worse off shortly after. They never address the true point of transformation, identity. They only change the number, but the number alone holds nothing. It's your sense of worthiness that determines how much you retain and multiply, and that's reprogrammable. You can cultivate a new relationship with money, a new vision of yourself, but it requires consistency, mindfulness, and the courage to break the cycle. Your old paradigm will pull you back, create doubt and test you, but if you stay true to your new self-image, that new pattern will become automatic. Research shows our emotional relationship with money forms in childhood, between 5 and 7 years old. This initial imprint shapes our financial decisions unless we re-educate the subconscious. Did you grow up hearing that money was dirty, that rich people were greedy, that for one to have, another must lose? Then you might carry guilt about desiring more, sabotage yourself when you break a limit because something inside says it's wrong to have too much. As long as that belief exists, you'll struggle to maintain, not expand, but you don't have to live like that. Start creating a new emotional association with money. Observe how you feel when you see others' prosperity, envy, anger, judgment, or admiration. That says more about you than about them, revealing what's programmed within. Imagine shifting that emotion. Start celebrating others' abundance, visualizing yourself with the same, acting as someone who trusts life's flow. That changes everything. Money goes where it's welcomed. It flees where it's feared, resisted, or hated. I remember a case I'll never forget. An entrepreneur I worked with had everything going for him. Intelligent, dedicated, great product. But he could never sustain his business. Until he confessed his father used to say, "Rich people are no good." He grew up believing that, self-sabotaging, as if success was a betrayal. When he broke that belief, things changed, not overnight, but consistently. He acted like someone who allowed himself to prosper, without guilt, without fear, with responsibility. You can too. Your next level isn't in a new course, job, or external miracle. It's within you, in how you see yourself, how you manage your emotions, in the decision to stop repeating patterns and start creating the life you deserve. The world won't give you what you want, but what it believes is compatible with who you are. When you change that, you change everything. Your external reality will never surpass the internal limits you've imposed. It all begins and ends within you. Mind, body, emotions, identity. Everything must be in harmony for true transformation to occur. You're not here by chance. If you've made it this far, something within you has awakened, moved, questioned the old and desired the new. That's already the beginning of a great transformation. If you want to continue this journey of expansion, growth, and self-mastery, the next video will take you deeper, help you climb another rung on the ladder of knowledge, and perhaps make you a little better than you are now. Thank you for being here, for trusting yourself enough to keep going. I'll see you in the next video.